Welcome back. In 2018, the world was shocked and horrified when authorities uncovered 13 siblings shackled, starved and abused by their parents, hostages in their own home in Perris, California. As details of the Turpin case emerged, we were sickened and our hearts broke over what these children had suffered. While an extreme case, it is by no means an isolated one, nor is it confined to the United States. It is a worldwide problem that has been happening for many years, but appears to be reaching epidemic proportions over the last few decades. Family services are overburdened and stretched to the limit, but gaping holes in the system have also been uncovered. A lack of communication between government agencies, failure to follow up on red flags, lost files, particularly between states, have allowed and continue to allow far too many vulnerable children to fall through the cracks. Today we look at just two of many such cases, discovered in the northern suburbs of Adelaide, and only by chance. They are disturbing in the depths of cruelty and abuse these young, innocent children suffered at the hands of the very people who were supposed to protect them, their parents. In 2008, a mother, whose name has been suppressed, moved from Geelong in Victoria with her 5 children to Parafield Gardens in the northern suburbs of Adelaide. The move was to continue her relationship with a man named Michael Quinlevin. 4 months later, one of her children, a 5-year-old boy, collapsed and was rushed to hospital, suffering from a head injury, malnutrition and hypothermia. This led authorities to the Casuarina Avenue home and the discovery of child neglect and abuse that rocked even the hardened police officers who attended. 21 children and 5 adults were living in the housing trust or government house. The stench of urine, human waste and garbage was overwhelming. Faeces was smeared on the walls. The house was infested with flies, maggots and cockroaches, and a dead dog lay rotting in the backyard. A complex web of interrelationships between the adults had led to the shocking abuse of 5 of the children. Their mother had moved in 4 months earlier to be with her boyfriend, Michael Quinlevin. Quinlevin was living with his sisters, Trudy Quinlevin and Tanya Staker, Staker's partner, Luke Armistead, and Armistead's former stepfather, Robert Armistead. Tanya Staker, a mother of 12, was not happy that the woman had moved in because her partner, Luke Armistead, had actually fathered the 5 children the woman brought with her. For no other reason than spiteful jealousy, she began to punish the children simply because of who their parents were, and they would suffer her wrath relentlessly over the next 4 months. While Tanya at least had a motive, be it twisted and cruel, it is beyond comprehension that the other 4 adults in the house not only allowed the abuse, but were complicit in the cruel acts inflicted on children aged between 4 and 7. They were only allowed to eat the scraps that were left over when the others had finished eating, usually chips or noodles, and sometimes were given dog food. If they asked for more, they were beaten. Their hands and feet were bound with sticky tape to prevent them from touching anything, and from the time they woke in the morning, they were forced to form a line facing a wall with their hands on their heads until it was time to go to sleep again. If they complained or cried, they were beaten. Fortunately, but sadly, it took the almost death of one of the children to bring an end to their horrific abuse. They suffered starvation, malnutrition, emaciation, muscle wastage, scabies, and open sores. Their brains had shrunken due to a lack of nutrition. They were taken from the home and placed into foster care. It was reported that their progress was slow but positive. The 5 adults were taken into custody and charged with 2 counts each of aggravated acts to endanger life and 3 counts each of aggravated acts creating a risk of serious harm. The mother pled guilty and was jailed for at least 3 years. Tanya Staker also pleaded guilty and was given a 10-year sentence. The men took their chance with a trial, but it didn't help, and they were each given a 9-year sentence. Trudy Quinlivan was deemed unfit to stand trial due to mental incompetence and was placed under a 9-year supervision. She breached the conditions and disappeared. In a final twist to the story, one of the abused revealed that a child protection worker had visited the house on several occasions. She entered the home a couple of times, then preferred to sit on the front porch during subsequent visits. She was not there in an official capacity, however. She was engaged to one of the family members and never reported the squalor, neglect or abuse. She was not fired from her position or even disciplined because she was not there officially as a caseworker. Adelaide police were called to the home of a 24-year-old mother who stated her 28-year-old partner was assaulting her. Police arrived and had to wade through mounds of garbage bags, rotting food and empty alcohol bottles. The pair had been on a binge of drinking and smoking cannabis. But in searching the house, police were further shocked to discover a naked, shivering 4-year-old boy locked in a stinking bedroom filled with soiled nappies and smeared with his own faeces. His eyes were sunken, his teeth were rotting, and his ribs were protruding. He weighed just 8 kilos, half the normal weight of a 4-year-old. He was taken from the home and placed into foster care. Doctors said that his dehydration was at such levels that he would have died within another couple of days. The parents were arrested and charged with endangering their son's life. During the hearing, the court heard that the boy had been fed yogurt or jelly slid beneath the locked door of his room. He was starving, while his mother posted pictures of her attempts at cooking a roast dinner and a melted chocolate dessert on Facebook. Even more appalling was the mother's testimony that she had been too busy having sex to care for the child. The father had already had another child removed from his care while living in Victoria, but the files were never forwarded to South Australia. In fact, the father didn't really think they were neglecting the child, stating, "We actually fed him pretty much every day in that room by sliding the plates under there. So far as we could hear, he was happy. He never complained." Judge Paul Cuthbertson said the animal kingdom did a better job looking after their offspring than this couple had done for their son. An impact statement by the foster family was read to the court, stating that he never comes out of his room. When he wakes up, he stays there until someone comes to get him. He hides food in his pockets and is teased by other children for being a baby. He sometimes hits himself in the head and throws himself at a wall. He was still being toilet trained and was uncomfortable with outings away from the house. The couple was sentenced to a maximum of 8 years each, but the tiny boy will need many years of patience and guidance if he ever hopes to lead a normal life. Thank you for watching, and please always report anything you may know of a child or children being abused. Even if it's only a suspicion, it's better to be safe than sorry. Until next time.